What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you want to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Milam would definitely come along, no doubt about that, but if I'm there too, what's the problem?
But, I was planning to explore those ruins anyway, so having an expert like you along would certainly put my mind at ease, Kigali. And since we've introduced ourselves to each other, maybe I could pay you through the free guild to help with that effort? What do you think?
Meaning that you'd have the right to whatever we found, Rimuru.
Well, we can talk about that. I have a museum in my capital, so I'd prefer to put it on display there rather than sell it off. But it's still gonna be Milam's land, so we'll have to discuss matters with her, too. It's hard to make a decision either way right now.
I see, but you're definitely gonna stage an expedition sometime?
Yep.
Indeed.
Kigali chimed in.
If I don't have to worry about expenses, I'd be delighted to take that offer. And if you can handle negotiations with Milam for me, I'd have no reason to say no.
It looked like Kigali's interests weren't strictly about profit either. She had an intellectual bent as well, and if she did, there were no issues between us. So it was decided, she'd organize the team, and I'd talk to Milam and convince her this was a good idea.
Does all that sound good to you, Yuki?
Sure, the Free Guild would be happy to help.
Now I'm looking forward to this. I'll begin making arrangements for this while I run operations in Master Yuki's absence.
Ah, right. We'd gotten a little sidetracked, but I was here to invite Yuki over.
Thanks very much, Kigali. Sorry you're staying here while we get to have all the fun, I guess.
Oh, I don't mind. Enjoy yourselves to your heart's content.
Thanks. The guild's in your hands.
After saying our goodbyes, Yuki and I left the guild headquarters. I hadn't expected this, but now we had the ball rolling on exploring those ruins. I really wasn't sure who to enlist for that effort, so having an expert oversee operations was reassuring. It wouldn't be until things calmed down after the Founders Festival, but I really couldn't wait to see what we found in there. We could all stand to learn a lot. Maybe it'd even give me some hints for the underground dungeon we'd built back in town. Such were my thoughts as I took Yuki along to my next stop. I removed my mask outside of the HQ. Given that I no longer needed to hide my aura with it, I only really required it in places where revealing my face would cause trouble. Yuki, carrying a large knapsack, was eager to talk to me. Receiving that written invite, he must have had time to prepare in advance, and given the size of his bag, he must have been planning to stay at least a few nights.
So are you gonna bring the kids along, too?
Yeah, now that Hinata and I are even, none of them has any reason to be against me. There might be an issue or two with them being over there, but we got some pretty serious security, so?
We had to, given all the dignitaries we invited. And if we could keep all of them safe, there was no reason we couldn't protect those 5 children, either.
Okay, in that case, go right ahead.
Yuki smiled.
They're a lot more devoted to studying these days, so maybe they're due for a break and a reward.
I didn't send any advance notice to the kids. It would be a complete surprise to them. I kept quiet until I was sure it'd be okay to invite them, and hopefully they'd forgive me for that. I knew they really needed some more advance notice, but depending on how things went, I might have had to say no to them. No point in revving them up and disappointing them later if things went awry. After walking for a while, we came to a familiar schoolhouse, the imposing home of Anglesia's Free Academy. A word with the gate guard, and we were taken inside. I was with Yuki, the school's honorary chairman, so it took no time at all. We were soon greeted by the vice principal, who guided us into a classroom.
Hey, guys, you all doing well?
Before I could finish saying hello, Alice tackled me like a lineman.
Mr. Tempest, you've been gone for so long.
I didn't think I had been, but maybe that was just my grown-up's perspective? Children have a different sense of time than we do. I guess this must have been hard for them.
She's right. You promised me you'd come in regularly to visit.
Yeah, Gail's telling the truth. I thought you forgot all about us.
But I'm glad you're here now, Mr. Tempest.
Gail, Kenya, and Ryota all gathered around me, expressing their joy even as they complained to me. Chloe wasn't far behind them, grabbing onto me and smiling.
Welcome back, Mr. Tempest.
You're as popular as ever.
Yuki laughed as he watched.
I'm a little jealous.
Oh, Yuki's here, too.
Are you gonna fight me today like you promised, Yuki?
Me too.
Right, our spirit force handling's improved a lot lately.
Noticing Yuki made the children's smiles grow wider. Kenya was even challenging him to a fight, and Ryota and Gail weren't far behind him. If they had their powers more under control now, I was sure they wanted someone to test them out on. But we were here for different reasons.
You'd need to train another 100 years to beat me. I'll fight if y'all want, but not today, alright?
Why not?
Kenya protested.
Sorry.
I said.
But there's no time for that today.
What do you mean?
A confused Chloe asked. I looked right back at her.
Well, I wanted to invite all 5 of you to my homeland. We're holding a big festival starting tomorrow. If you don't want to go, that's fine, but...
Hurry, we gotta get ready.
Alright, Ken.
What? Why didn't you tell us sooner? This is huge.
Yeah, Mr. Tempest, how can you just say this out of nowhere? I can't wait.
The children immediately sprang into action, not waiting for the rest of my speech. They didn't waste a moment of time. The decision was unanimous.
All you need to bring is a change of clothes, guys.
I shouted as they scurried off. There was no response, all of them departing like a storm and shouting the whole way. The teacher presiding over class at the time was understandably a little confused as he watched us.
That's quite a surprise to see.
He sighed once they were gone.
They've never been quite that friendly to me.
You're doing a great job with them. They're a little better now, but it takes a rare teacher to wrangle the likes of these kids.
No, I suppose it's only natural that you need to prove your strength for them to listen to you. I hate to say it, but I think I might actually lose to them if I don't pay attention. There's no doubting the power they pack, no. By the way.
The teacher didn't look familiar. He must have been hired on to replace me.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Rimuru, and I was teaching them before you. Sorry to interfere with class.
Ah, you were Rimuru. I surmised as much when the children called you, Mr. Tempest. My name is Klaus, and I was hired by the academy as your replacement.
He gave me a bitter smile.
And don't worry about the class. The vice principal warned me in advance that we may be canceling it for a bit starting today.
As Yuki explained, Klaus was once an adventurer, a hunting specialist with a rank of A-. He was now approaching 50 and considering retirement before very long.
Wait, you said you might even lose to them? They've gotten that strong?
Well, what did you expect? They take pride in the fact that you trained them, sir.
Yeah.
Yuki said.
If they snuck up on me, maybe I'd even lose.
They must have grown a lot. That was impressive, especially in such a short time. It gave me something to think about, as a resolved-looking Klaus turned toward us.
Sir Yuki, I have a request.
What's that?
It's something I'd like to ask Sir Rimuru as well, but at this rate, I can see myself as no longer able to win against them before long. It's an advantage that goes beyond any technical skill they have, but letting them slide by with just this much wouldn't be good for them. I think they need an adult who can serve as a kind of wall for them.
How do you mean?
It's simple, Sir Yuki. These children still have the potential to grow. I don't want them defeating me to make them arrogant, and thus, I was hoping we could provide someone who can train them in fighting technique.
I get it. Klaus really seemed to be looking out for these kids. Each one was housing a high-level spirit inside them, spirits that neutralized the magicule energy granted to them in the crossing from their world to this one. As they grew, however, they became able to control and harness these spirits' powers, and unleashing this extra energy would make it simple to cast spirit magic spells, for example. They really could become talented elementalists, the way Shizu had. Kenya even had the potential to go hero level, just like the light elemental we met said. With the right instructor, fabulous powers would be far more than just a dream to him. Like Klaus suggested, he needed a gifted teacher to guide him along. But,
alright, so we'll want a good teacher along those lines, huh? But if we're talking someone stronger than you, Klaus, it'd have to be a current ranker. Hiring someone that far up as a teacher might not be possible.
Yuki was right. That was a problem. A retired adventurer would be glad to accept a steady job like that, but an active one could earn a lot more money taking challenging jobs than watching a classroom of kids. The guild, too, had a mission to keep people safe. They'd naturally prefer their top talent to be working in the field for them.
I imagine not.
Klaus said with a sigh.
If we're looking for someone ranked or higher willing to work as a teacher, well, I sure can't think of anyone. I can certainly teach classwork and adventuring skills well enough, but...
He understood full well that this was a big ask. And, yeah, recruiting adventurers to teach must have been a pretty tall order. So I made another suggestion.
In that case, I'm planning to start a school of my own back home. We got a lot of B-ranked dudes over there, and I could probably have old man Hakuro, my own teacher, serve as an instructor. When it comes to swordsmanship, at least, he's better than I am, so I'm sure he could teach them that much.
Hakuro would be just fine, when it came to sword skills. The children needed more instruction than that, of course, but...
Whoa.
Yuki marveled.
That actually sounds great. Would you mind taking over custody of them for a while, then?
Yeah, that's another idea. But they're still gonna need to learn life skills for human society from somewhere.
Children learn a lot of these skills interacting with one another. Robbing them of that chance, I worried, could stunt their communication skills as they grew up. We'd be seeing more and more adventurers in Tempest over time, and their own children would probably be attending this school I pictured, but that wasn't likely to gain major momentum for another few years. Until then, they'd have to live in an environment with no other human children, and that struck me as problematic.
Oh, because it's nothing but other monsters instead of human kids?
Yes, that could be an issue.
Yuki and Klaus had the same misgivings, nodding their agreement. I was glad we were on the same page with this, but I couldn't rest easy yet. There was something else on my mind.
Which, I mean, they could just travel to Tempest for instruction in battle. We have the teleportation magic for it. They could come over a few times a week if you like. But given their background, I think they better get some instruction in elemental spirits as well.
This wasn't a problem, exactly, but still not something I wanted to compromise on. The elemental spirits within them helped protect their lives, to a large extent. If they wanted to harness their powers correctly, they'd need more core knowledge about them, knowledge I simply didn't have. Not to put too fine a point on it, but everything I knew about this world was gained strictly off my own experience. Me trying to explain elementals would be like you or I explaining how to breathe through words alone. I could go over logical facts and stuff, but I couldn't impart the real essence.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to Joel G. Calderon, Chad Vota, Almost On, Time Hero, Amelia Kyle, Chiseled Mystic, Kanara MLBB, Haratan Riang, Random Guy, Admiral Rob, and last but not least, shout out to Light Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next video.